dissect over a cup of coffee who won and who lost. Good to have you with us on this Friday edition of Ed Schultz News and Commentary. I'll tell you who lost last night in the Republican debate, and that's the American people. And I really believe that. We saw two conflicting philosophies about how to run the country. If you're a Democrat, if you're a lefty, a progressive, you really didn't hear a whole lot that would inspire you to think that the Republicans are the ones that are going to make us better as a country. Good to have you with us. Communication Workers of America, Alliance for American Manufacturing, Bio Green Clean, and the iSave team bring you this production. All right, do you ever make a list when you go to the grocery store? You don't want to forget stuff. I made a list last night during the debate because there are things that I believe have to be addressed as a country if we're going to get better. And I think a lot of it revolves around families. And I think a lot of it revolves around income coming into households. That gives us economic stability and a chance for a better life for all Americans. It's a hell of a thing when you got money coming in the door, isn't it? Money is opportunity. Money is a better future. It's stability. And that's what families are concerned about in this country right now. And I just didn't hear the Republicans connect to Americans in that vein last night. Now, Wall Street. Now, I'm an investor in Wall Street from time to time, depending on what I think the market's going to do. I'm a capitalist. I believe that there are some good things. But I also think that there are not the protections in place that need to be in place if we're going to have a solid economy and one that is going to be protected. I do believe that Glass-Steagall is important. I do believe that we need to separate the commercial banks and the investment banks. So the deregulation, of course, is what the Republicans want. So you're not going to hear anything bad about Wall Street last night. I didn't expect it, but I know in the Democratic debate, when Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton are going at it, Martin O'Malley, that there's going to be a conversation about it. All right, I didn't hear anything about infrastructure. Infrastructure investment. Well, the Republicans don't want to spend any money, so they're not going to go down that road. I didn't hear anything about a big idea when it comes to a jobs program. I didn't really hear enough about race relations other than it just briefly being mentioned about training and law enforcement. Really? What about voting rights? On the 50th anniversary of voting rights, no one could talk about freedom when it comes to access to the ballot box because the Republicans do not believe in it. College tuition. The debt that young people are shouldering right now is a big harness on their economic future. The Democrats have a plan. The Republicans don't even acknowledge it. They like the interest they're paying to the big banks. Workers' rights, nothing about unions, nothing about collective bargaining. There's a philosophical difference there. And, of course, nothing about the largest trade deal that is in the history of this country that we're about ready to embark on. You know, the losers were American workers and American families. Do you notice that everything last night was about policy, not about people? Everything was about their view of a future when it comes to fear. And there was really no one on stage other than Trump. And I'm not trying to suck up to Trump. I think this is a fair analysis. Trump was the only one on the stage last night that was willing to admit that the Republican Party and conservative policies in the past are the ones that have dug us into a hole on a number of different fronts. And he is the one that says, no, we shouldn't have gone into Iraq. None of them will admit to that. The dust-up that was important or entertaining last night was that between Chris Christie and Rand Paul when it comes to privacy/security. This is what I enjoyed.
I want to collect more records from terrorists, but less records from innocent Americans.
Megan, that's a completely ridiculous answer. I want to collect more records from terrorists, but less records from other people. How are you supposed to know, Megan?
Use the Fourth Amendment.
How are you supposed
Use
to?
the Fourth
No, I'll
Amendment.
tell you how you. Look,
get a warrant.
Let me tell you something.
Get a judge to sign a warrant.
Senator.
Go ahead, wait, Governor Christie, make your point.
Listen, Senator. When you're sitting in a subcommittee just blowing hot air about this, you can say things like that.
I don't trust President Obama with our records. I know you gave him a big hug, and if you want to give him a big hug again, go right ahead.
Senator Paul, Senator Paul, you know, the hugs that I remember are the hugs that I gave to the families who lost their people on September 11th. Those are the hugs I remember, and those had nothing to do with politics, unlike what you're doing by cutting speeches on the floor of the Senate, then putting them on the internet within a half an hour to raise money for your campaign.
All right.
So I don't know who won that, but it was interesting. You have a former prosecutor concerned about security, and you have a legislator, a senator, who is concerned about privacy. And I thought that was a real tug of war within the Republican Party on how far do we go. And this is the appeal that Rand Paul has had, although I don't think that he won the debate. Watching Fox News, I didn't watch all the networks last night. I watched the network that carried it. I thought the questions were very good. I do. I think that they were meaty, and I think that they were very direct, and that they deserved a direct response. I thought the run-up to the debate was rather shabby. And of course, everybody was looking to see how Trump was going to do. Trump made a vital point in all of this. He circled right in and zeroed right in on what his visibility has been all about, and that is immigration. And he brought up the fact that you wouldn't even be talking about it had he had not been aggressive on the issue.
If it weren't for me, you wouldn't even be talking about illegal immigration, Chris. You wouldn't even be talking about it. This was not a subject that was on anybody's mind until I brought it up at my announcement, and I said Mexico is sending. Except the reporters, because they're a very dishonest lot, generally speaking, in the world of politics, they didn't cover my statement the way I said it.
They didn't cover the statement the way he said it. Well, I thought that was the highlight for Trump, and it may have gone downhill after that. I'm going to give him a little slack because he was on a platform in an arena that he's not used to, but I don't think he really hurt himself. The post-analysis was interesting. Jeb Bush was just kind of a windsock up there. He really made no statement. You could see him, but that was about it. Kasich did not get the kind of credit that I thought he should have got. Governor Kasich says that Trump has hit a nerve, and he was willing to acknowledge that, and he put it this way.
I was just saying to Chris Christie, they say we're outspoken. We need to take lessons from Donald Trump if we're really going to learn it. Here's the thing about Donald Trump. Donald Trump's hitting a nerve in this country. He is. He's hitting a nerve. People are frustrated. They're fed up. They don't think the government is working for them. And for people that want to just tune them out, they're making a mistake. But the point is that we all have solutions. Mr. Trump is touching a nerve because people want the wall to be built. They want to see an end to illegal immigration. They want to see it, and we all do.
I think Kasich is right on that. If you go back to 2008, John McCain ran an ad, "Build the Damn Wall." And I think that is still there. Some people think that in this country that a wall is going to make a big difference when it comes to illegal immigration. It all started last night with a pledge. And this, of course, was directed at Donald Trump, and I thought it was a great way to start the debate because if they're going to be unified, it's going to have to be from day one. This is how it unfolded from Brett Baer.
Is there anyone on stage, and can I see hands, who is unwilling tonight to pledge your support to the eventual nominee of the Republican Party and pledge to not run an independent campaign against that person? Again, we're looking for you to raise your hand now. Raise your hand now if you won't make that pledge tonight. Mr. Trump.
You know what?
To be clear, you're standing...
You know, I thought to myself when that happened, at least Trump has the guts to raise his hands. There are some politicians that would waffle, say, well, what I really meant when I said it. No, Trump stuck to his guns. And I thought that issue last night and then also the issue of immigration were his strongest points. I thought he could have done a better job on jobs. Now, whether he's going to get chipped away out in the polls remains to be seen.